Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode that we have going on today, which is talking about the NBA play-in. When we talk about the NBA play-in, excuse me, it's pretty imperative because just a couple of years ago, when they did start the NBA play-in, LeBron James was one of the biggest people that kind of went against it and thought it was just outlandish that they were going to have an NBA play-in for the last four teams to get into the playoffs and play that sixth seed. Uh, so when we talk about where it started, I mean, LeBron James has been in the past, you know, since he's got to the Lakers two to three times uh, in the NBA playing. So, which is kind of crazy, but I'm not going to start off with LeBron. I want to start off with Jimmy Butler. First off, I'm a Miami Heat fan. I've been a Miami Heat fan for years and years and years. Uh, Miami's had kind of a weird playoff run over the past couple of years when it's come to going all the way to the NBA Finals during the bubble year to play the Lakers, going back to the NBA Eastern Conference Championship, and have seen continued success with the acquisition of Jimmy Butler, which I thought was a great acquisition for Miami when they did get him. Um, and then when we talk about just how the Miami Heat is constructed, I think is good for the organization. They have stability all the way at the top, going all the way up to Pat Riley and Mickey Harrison, the owner, standing behind Eric Spoelstra and showing the organization that they stand behind their coach of who to decide to hire. They don't bend to the will to players. They run a well-oiled machine. That's first off about the Miami Heat organization and how that runs. Um, Now, if we look at what they've done over this past year, it's been kind of a wonky year. They've had some injuries. You have Udonis Haslam having his last season in Miami for 20 years. You have the acquisition of Kevin Love right before the playoff, or right before the trading deadline. Uh, Kevin Love definitely, I was high on Kevin Love when he played for the Timberwolves back in the day. I thought he was a great player. And then obviously went to the Cavs and won an NBA championship with the Cavs, and then moving on from there. Um, but since he's been with the Miami Heat, obviously it's a different organization, it's a different culture. Everyone has always talked about how hard that team not just practices but plays, and what's the expectation of their players. So it's probably been a big adjustment for Kevin Love. But when we talk about the NBA plan of what we have going on tonight at 7:30 with Miami playing Atlanta. If we look at where Miami and how well they played against Atlanta, and there's a lot of history behind those two organizations over the past 20 years of how they played each other in the playoffs, stemming all the way back to Dwayne Wade and Joe Johnson and that crew back in the day in the early 2000s there. So if we look at it, over just this year, um, Miami has fared pretty decently over the season against the Hawks. The first time they played them, they played them 106-98 as Miami walked away with that win there, and then the Hawks going back just 2 months later, playing Miami, and the Hawks beating Miami 121-113, and then Miami returning the favor and beating the Hawks in a close game on March 4th, 117-109, and then again, one 130-128 in Miami's favor. Um, and then obviously we have tonight. So if we look at just the overall concept of how that worked, Miami fared quite well in the season against Atlanta, going 3-1. Where Atlanta's only beaten Miami once this season in there. Um, Last year they put him in the playoffs. Miami smoked them. It wasn't a very fair match. There's a lot of turmoil with um, the Atlanta Hawks and Trae Young and what Trae Young thinks he is and how he's fared in the playoffs against them, or just against only making one Eastern Conference Finals appearance. Um, so when we talk about the play-in and where we at right now with really the two bigger franchises between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Miami Heat, and seeing who has the more pressure right now. Do you believe that Jimmy Butler has more pressure to make a push into the playoffs and possibly make a deep run, or do you guys believe that LeBron James has more pressure going into his 20th year, going into the play-in? As we know, as of last night, AD is possibly out and won't play the play-in tonight. So where do you guys see it? I mean, yes, LeBron James does have 4 championships. He's a Finals MVP. He's an MVP regular season individual. But if he gets bounced in the play-in, do you think the Lakers blow it up finally? Um, Going back to where we talked about as it tonight, as it's 7:30 p.m. Jimmy is going to play the Atlanta Hawks. It's going to probably be a close game. I think it's going to be somewhere 120, 125. Miami and Atlanta. Atlanta might fall short, maybe at 110. So I'm looking for probably about a 10-point swing when it comes to Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat playing against the Atlanta Hawks. That's tonight. Now, the later game tonight that's playing, which is obviously the Timberwolves and the Los Angeles Lakers. So the Timberwolves actually have they played in the preseason against each other. It was next to one of the more closer preseasons, but the Los Angeles Lakers did lose twice to Timberwolves in preseason. But as most of us know, the preseason isn't always a precursor to the regular season. So the first time they matched up against each other, the Timberwolves beat the Lakers 111 102. And then the Timberwolves did beat them again March 3rd, 110 to 102. And then the Lakers finally ended up beating the Timberwolves 123 111. And then so if you look at it, the Timberwolves have seemed to have the Lakers number when it comes to just winning. Now the Lakers have found some stars that a lot of people didn't think was available to the organizations, or just, I guess I would call them, diamonds in the rough. But the strength of schedule for the Los Angeles Lakers haven't been in their favor, unfortunately. With barely making it over 500, with a lot of the injuries they've had. LeBron James is battling that foot injury right now. Probably getting around the clock treatment on it. AD can't seem to stay healthy. He should have been traded. I believe AD should have been traded after the bubble championship when he didn't come to camp that following next season in shape. That should have been a precursor. That should have let the organization know that AD isn't about putting in the work that he thought and LeBron James possibly thought that he could do. It's been well noted and annotated that he doesn't like to play through injuries. He doesn't like to play through being hurt. But Darvin Ham has been able to kind of like waking up and say, hey, dude, you got to toughen up if you're going to play in the league. if they probably get bounced out of the play-in, it's possibly a good chance that AD does get possibly explored for trading options, because I don't see the Lakers commanding or even trying to give him, more money. I think he should be a pretty valuable trade piece. Now, if LeBron James does make it out of the play-in and into the playoffs, do you guys believe he could possibly push or propel his team to at least the second or third round of the Western Conference Championship? I think it's all going to come down to seeding. I think it's all going to come down to who they do end up playing. If there's any upsets like with the Clippers and the and oh gosh, I'm blanking on him. Um, and the Phoenix Suns with them. They, even though Paul George isn't playing right now because he is injured with that knee injury right now, but we've seen crazier things in the playoffs happen. So as we know, once the playoffs kicks off tonight, going into the rest of the couple months we've got left over with the playoffs, seeing where it goes. I don't think Jimmy. I don't think. Excuse me. I don't think LeBron. If he does get bounced, does he ask for a trade? I mean, he can officially actually ask for a trade and actually leave the organization this coming year, this coming off season. His value would be tremendous right now due to the fact of what he put up this year with the Los Angeles Lakers. He would possibly be able to load manage probably a little better as well too. But that's only just my speculation. Let me know what you guys think about LeBron James, and if he does get bounced out, do you guys see him possibly asking the organization for a trade and say, "Hey, move me here"? Yes, we do know he has a no trade clause, but he can offer and say, "Hey, I want to go to these teams and go from there." Or do you think he goes to the management and says, "Hey, let's move AD and let's get some more pieces around me and see what we can do um, with that"? Or do you think they just keep both players and say, "Hey, we're going to run it back with the players we have and possibly try to get someone in the draft"? Obviously, we know how the draft works sometimes. There's not a lot of great players from what analysts say, but there's been a lot of diamonds in the rough when it comes to that. So those are just my quick thoughts on the LeBron James and Jimmy Butler between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Miami Heat. As both these teams only matched up just a couple of years ago in the bubble to face off for a championship. So it's kind of crazy how the tides have turned, and now both these teams are in the play-in and not in the upper tier seating for the playoffs. So I think it's going to be a longer road for both teams. So and health and chemistry and coaching is going to come down to if any one of these teams decide to make a deep run. Uh, so I think for the Los Angeles Lakers, it's going to come down to health. It's going to come down to who's going to be available and do they get lucky and they don't have to play, Kevin Durant possibly because he gets knocked out or possibly Golden State as well. I think if Miami decides to make a deep run, it's going to come down to coaching. It's going to come down to player health and hoping that Tyler Hero has matured like he should have to help push this team over, along with Kevin Love bringing on that championship level team dynamic for the Miami Heat. So let us know down in the comments and what you guys think about both these organizations here. If this is the first time joining me, I appreciate it. And let me know what you guys think. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that share button. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Rumble. And I'm on the YouTube. So let us know. Thanks, you guys. You guys have a great day. And let us know who you guys think is going to win tonight. Either the Lakers or the Heat or neither both. So let us know. Drop those scores in. And thanks, you guys.